Welcome to GitHub Universe.
There is nothing like being at Universe in person and seeing all of the developers, all of the customers, everybody come together to celebrate what it is to build on GitHub.
This year, we added one developer every single second.
It's great to be back. It's always good to get great swag, by the way.
GitHub Universe. Yeah, so cool.
Gotta come play bingo, baby.
This year has been so fun showing me what they're building. They're hacking their badge.
It's basically a mini computer.
We've always been the home for developers. Now we're adding agents, with developers and agents working together in Agent HQ.
Today, we're experiencing the full power of AI, and it just keeps getting better.
We're thrilled to be working with GitHub to bring the power of Codex to all of you.
The place where creativity meets real-world impact.
Dream it in the morning, build it in the afternoon.
Unblock the path so you can build what's next.
The energy level of being here with the community, with our team, is really super special.
You have to be here if you want to be part of the future.
GitHub Universe, they always get better every year.
You definitely want to be back next year, October 28th and 29th, here at Fort Mason Center for GitHub Universe 2026.
Happy Coding Universe.
Hello everyone, Andrea here again, back from GitHub Universe 2025. We're sitting down with leaders from some of the companies that are truly shaping how we're building software. You know, the folks that are in the trenches, that are dealing with engineering teams every day. And they're gonna be kind enough to share what's working. And today's conversation is no different. We're gonna be talking to Jeff Kais, who is the field CTO at Allstacks. We're gonna talk about engineering intelligence, not just metrics for the sake of metrics. Yeah. We're gonna talk about the super sweet jacket that you're wearing right now.
Yes, yes.
And of course, we have to talk about AI because the data doesn't lie. There's 97% of developers are using AI now. When companies are still struggling to know how to use it, to adopt it. And I think that's something that your company is doing. They're doing a lot of fun things, including launches today.
Yes.
That are here to empower companies to actually use AI in a smart way. So this is going to be a good one, friends. Buckle up. Jeff.
Buckle up. I like it.
You are the field CTO at Allstacks, and you have a long career, over 30 years in tech. You've been a developer, you've been an architect, you've been an engineer leader across multiple organizations. Multiple different types of organizations too.
Yep.
Which is very interesting. So you have sort of a front seat to watching this space evolve from every possible angle.
Yes.
But let's start a bit with the foundation. What problem does Allstacks solve?
That's a great question.
We need to know.
Yeah, that's a great question because there's a lot of need. Allstacks helps engineering, or really helps manage and improve and maximize the investments made in engineering itself by providing metrics and actual insights across delivery. That includes key metrics such as delivery metrics, value stream flow, to DORA, to space, provides engineering experience and developer experience, provides R&D capitalization automation, basically anything that is to summarize some of the intelligence and the analytics around software delivery, we have that. And so we help enable making those metrics actionable to engineering leadership to forecast and manage their teams and ultimately maximize that investment going into software.
That's amazing. So, and is there a starting point there? So if I have a team of 100, I need Allstacks. If I have a team of 1,000, I need Allstacks.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, because at the end of the day, unlike a regular manufacturing kind of job, you can't see what's happening. With developers, you don't really know who's doing what. And you need more than just, here's the project says this is going on. You need to be able to go back and watch what's really being produced. What's that? The code. and then take all that code, the build, the quality metrics, correlate that back to project data to see what's actually happening. In that correlated set of insights, you get to see a better picture. Otherwise, you're flying blind. You don't know what's going on.
The data doesn't lie, friends, and when we use it appropriately, we can actually get a lot out of it. All right, so I love this. I have to ask about the jacket because I feel like there is an analogy there that's directly related to the mission at Allstacks.
There sure
Do tell,
is.
please.
There sure is. You know, so I'm wearing a watermelon jacket.
Yes.
Half of it looks like the green watermelon, half of it looks like the red inside. What in the world is going on with this crazy guy walking around with that? It's nuts. This is actually what people are doing all the time. You think of all the project leaders, PMOs, and people that basically spend their time running around figuring out where's the status of these projects. Some of these people, that's their full-time job. Unthinkable. So what they're doing is they're interrupting, for lack of a better word, senior leaders of different teams to say, how's it going? I see this project isn't moving. This epi's not going on. What's happening? And they take this sort of sentiment data in mixture with project data to decide how things are, produce a really pretty project status. You know, maybe it's a PowerPoint, and at the very top, it'll be green, yellow, or red on some kind of semaphore.
I see where we're going.
Yeah. And what's fascinating is inevitably any engineering leader has seen this, where everything's green, and then a week before, oh, wait, everything's red. How was everything red? Like a week ago, it was green. Where was there not even yellow? No. These are known as watermelon projects.
Okay.
They're green on the outside, but they're red on the inside. And one of the things we're doing now is to actually, we have an announcement that we're doing today, in fact, where we're helping fix that problem.
This is amazing. Please tell us about this new amazing agent.
You bet. We're calling it's part of our intelligence engine.
Okay.
We're introducing it. The whole question is, look, can't we use AI to do better than hunting for dashboards? Can't we, metrics don't lie, but yet, are you looking at the right metrics? Are you looking at the right trend? What we're releasing are a series of deep research agents that are multi-prompt, iterative. They flow through all the data to answer specific kinds of questions, like a delivery risk deep research agent. What does that do? Well, it basically analyzes the entire project, not just looking at project data, but looks at iterating through the code, looks at what's the traditional track record, who's working on things, the code quality, the PR review cycles. It takes all these different elements into account to then answer the question, what's the likelihood that this thing's going to ship on time? And what's the likelihood, or what's the state of the code going to be when it does ship? And we rate and score these things. And then we do one other thing on top of this, which is to give a set of actions that should be taken in order to reduce either of those risks. So the top actions, what and who should do them, how should these be performed? And we even then take the next step to show you a list of here's the most critical items that are in jeopardy.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's kind of like, why haven't we been doing this all along? Instead, the rest of the industry has been focused on, hey, we create dashboards. People don't need more dashboards.
You said it loud, please. Thank you. Thank you. No, that's incredible. I mean, so I guess we're moving from we know what to measure, but we don't really know how to measure it. And when it comes to shipping software, there are so many factors. And so these agents are going to be able to not only give you that business intelligence and that high level view, but also tell you how to fix it.
Exactly.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Okay, I love this. I'm excited for it. And they're called the Deep Research
Agents. Deep Research Agents.
Deep Research Agents. And this is something that's available as of today, October 28th?
October 28th, we're in early access.
Okay.
So get a hold of us. We'll help connect this up. 48 hours, we'll have you running effectively really deep, iterative, multi-prompt analysis on your projects.
All right.
You know what's, just to take a tangent on a very personal note.
Please.
I feel for the people that have been running around doing these jobs, the army of PMOs that are sort of behest to the senior technical leaders that, I mean, it's a scary job to begin with.
Yes.
But now this can be run by anyone. It democratizes the expertise to where it doesn't really matter who runs it.
I love that, because if it can be run by everyone, then we all own that. And
Precisely.
it's everyone's job. And then you're only wearing water medals instead of them being
Yeah.
what your shipping forecasts look like. Incredible. I love the way that the company is thinking about using that, using AI to truly empower, not just bring data and give us more dashboards, but actually do actionable things. That's amazing. All right, so there is a lot of talk, of course, about AI. A lot of research about how organizations are adopting AI. I mean, it sounds like Allstacks is doing things to make it where everyone, regardless of the role at their company, can use this intelligence to be an active participant in that software development lifecycle, which is great. From your experience, what is it that companies are doing that they're unable to see the benefits? Because I think that there is a lot of adoption at some places, but there isn't a lot of success. Is it that they're not measuring the right thing? Is it that they're not adopting with the plan that it should be? Are they stuck in watermelons? Like, what do you think?
There's so much.
All the
this
variables.
Is a target-rich environment. First of all, be careful of metrics because sometimes they lie. Depends on if you got the right dashboard, if you got the right trend. Are you working on the most important thing? Don't know. You can make metrics mean a lot of things, and I hate that metrics have created sometimes a culture that isn't the right thing. Why are we not making more progress with AI? That is a foundational and a fundamental question. In thinking about a DevOps pipeline, you think about this as, well, where is AI having the most impact?
Okay.
Certainly it's the code. In fact, the way I would present it is like, hey, your development team just doubled, maybe tripled in the amount of code it's producing. But what about the rest of your pipeline?
Fair.
Right? What about how's your CI going? Well, in fact, recent research is showing that CI/CD pipelines are taking longer than ever to run. Are they getting the right coverage? Do they have enough tests going? Is it working? What about deployments? How many companies still have partially automated deployments going into production? Can you imagine 2 to 3 amounts of code going through the same pipeline with humans in the loop trying to get these things live?
Wow.
PR reviews. Oh my gosh, PR fatigue has hit an all-time high to the point where I've talked to teams. They're just rubber stamping. So much so that engineering leaders are now saying, wait a minute, instead of rubber stamping, we're not going to have 1 reviewer, we're going to have 3 just to make sure that code is going through right. Is this seem successful? Seems like there's some problems here. Let's go to the front of the pipeline. Requirements. Who cares if you produce 3 times the amount of code? Do you have detailed requirements, detailed plans, architecture, security all set? You can't just look at this from how much code are we producing.
Yes.
You have to look at the entire pipeline. Now we're back to metrics. How are you going to know? What dashboard's going to tell you that answer? Do you know where your bottleneck is? Do you know where your workflow is?
It could be anywhere, and that's in any of those points. Yeah.
So it's funny that one of the most common questions that I have heard is, well, Cloud Code versus GitHub Copilot. Which one's producing more code better? Really?
That's not the right question, is it?
That's not the right question. That is not the right question. Or I still hear, hey, Doris says that in order to be a high-performing organization, I'm supposed to deploy this many times a day. Really?
Wow.
That's your primary way you're going to realize value? What about your requirements? Are you delivering the right things? Some other deep research agents that we're working on, we have a workflow analysis. So we'll go look at every state of the workflow, give you average times. We'll look at the happy paths, those that are working well. We'll look at those workflows where the code has gotten stuck.
Oh.
We'll look at those paths where there's bounce back. We'll identify these patterns so you can get in and say, well, that's great that we're delivering, but why don't we start to analyze where are the problems? Maybe we should be fixing those instead of worrying about how much code are we delivering. There's another one that we're doing, getting ready for a sprint to run. One of the common questions is, do we have all the requirements set? Are they detailed? We have a deep research agent that's focused on requirements readiness. It'll go through, scan all of the different requirements, even suggest some that you can then click and add back into your list of user stories saying, hey, looks like you're missing, maybe if you're doing an application, authentication is one of them. Oh, there's no multi-factor authentication. You should add that in.
Okay.
And we can help you with these things because we have AI. AI has hit the perfect use case, and it is software development. And now we're using that in a way to go promote these things. So to answer your question, Why is it not working well enough? Maybe we're not managing it as well as we think we are.
Okay, so it's not so much a technology, but the way that we are applying it. I love this idea of, as you're talking, I'm picturing like this army of agents, and they all have their role, and they're all tackling very specific problems in that pipeline that at the end are going to make our velocity is going to increase, and you can actually see the real numbers, what matters, because shipping more code isn't it, friends, especially if it's not what you're selling or the quality of it is not great. Wow, that's fantastic. So let's say now for folks who are listening, we got all this data. Now with the power of the deep research agents, we actually have key action points. We have things that we can go back to our teams and say, hey, this is where we can stop that bottleneck, or this is how we can be more effective in different steps. So let's say you walk into a meeting with like CFOs, CEOs, which I'm sure you do daily, and you're explaining to them why they need more resources, whether it be time, more. Engineering teams struggle to communicate values to their stakeholders. And especially, I feel like in the age of AI now, it's becoming even harder because, like you said, there's a reason why the problem that we're seeing now is like, oh, we're shipping a lot more code, but is the code good? Is this something that's actually going to end up in the project? And I think like engineers have a hard time communicating that and aligning it with business value, right? So what's one metric that engineering leaders can walk into their next meetings and they're coming to talk to you as CTO, they're talking to their CEOs, that actually can move the needle for them to make sure that, they're actually focusing on what they need to focus. Help us out.
Absolutely. I think there's probably two that I would focus on.
Okay.
One, speak in the language of business. You know what the language of business will always include? Investment.
Oh.
Show me where and how you're maximizing the investments that we're making in engineering. Engineering, at the end of the day, is just a resource to produce a product or service that's going to then create more revenue.
Okay.
Really, the question that's being asked is, with the money that we're spending, how are you maximizing that to achieve the goals?
Okay.
As an engineering leader or a CTO or a platform team or even a DevOps team, can you prove the value that you're maximizing what's being invested into your group? If you can't, this is what Allstacks does. This is exactly our use case. We're going to help you show how that links back to the initiatives and how you're making progress on those key initiatives for the business. If you can't prove that, you're missing the point. No one cares how many story points you delivered. No one cares how many features or epics or that you didn't blow up production or your quality rate was X or you can, I don't know, your mean time to restore. Who the freak cares? At the end of the day, from the language of the business, care about investments.
Yes.
The second key metric that I would look at is alignment. Because oftentimes what happens is a business leader will ask an engineering leader, hey, can you prove that you're maximizing the investments we're making in engineering?
Okay.
And an engineering leader will be like, I don't really have that data. I can't show how much work we've done back to our different initiatives and so forth. So I can't really go back and demonstrate ROI. You know what they should be able to do, which is the second question, is alignment. Can I prove that my engineering team is actually focused on the right thing? Think of cognitive overload, one of the biggest problems for engineering teams right now. They're focused on too many things.
Yes.
Taking time away from code, taking time away from managing more agents. Even if they're managing more agents, are they working on the right things? Can you prove that? That's what we do. Those are language of the business to demonstrate the value of teams. And as soon as we as a whole industry recognize to speak in that and start from that language, everything changes. Now, if I can demonstrate, hey, look, we're accelerating these initiatives. If only I had a few more resources, we could do the following. And again, are those resources AI? Are they humans? Does it matter? Go run the numbers. It's a financial discussion.
And you have the full picture then. This is incredible. And I think this is so relevant. So if you're listening to this and you are not in the position where you think you can affect your company in that way, I'm not a decision maker, Andrea. It's not relevant to me. I disagree.
Absolutely.
You can be the hero of your organization.
Absolutely.
If you bring the power of this like comprehensive data and planning and aligning it with the communication like you just shared.
Yeah.
Amazing. I love that. So one of the focus of your company as well as developer experience, right? Everyone talks about developer experience.
Yep.
So we're going beyond how let's help engineers talk to in their leadership and bring their value and actually showcase how great they're doing. But then we also want their experience as they're working in these platforms to be a good one. And everybody says there matters. I think most companies now have like some kind of DevX program, right?
Oh yeah.
But it feels like every one of those companies really has sort of not very tangible ways of measuring whether that investment is even worth it, right? They're like, are our developers happy? What's happy? Like, what does it mean? So they're either not measuring at all, or it doesn't seem that they're measuring what matters because it feels kind of squishy. What would you say is one of the metrics that teams get wrong when they're measuring, let's say, for example, developer productivity? And what else should they look at instead of maybe that?
A couple things here. In this new world of agentic code generation and pipeline, what does developer productivity even mean anymore? Are we seriously going to go measure lines of code as if one person's typing speed is better than another and that's their value? The creativity side of being a developer is what's really valuable. Their ability to translate a design into an architecture, into the existing infrastructure, and cohesively make that reliable, stable. That's the job of a developer. How do you measure their productivity? I would say, frankly, if you want to have the biggest impact on productivity and happiness, look at context switching.
Oh.
What's their focus?
Say more.
Where do they spend their time?
Okay.
How can a developer be happy, truly? How could I be happy if I've got 30 things that I do in a day? It's insane. But yet, when you look at most development teams, that's what they're being asked to do more and more. From security, architecture review, respond to nuances, have input to other team members, mentoring, PR reviews. Oh my gosh.
That's a lot.
Shoot me. So the biggest impact I think we could ever have is stop worrying. I mean, I have another side, which I won't, to say out loud is how much do we really trust developer surveys asking developers how happy they are?
As someone who routinely ignores our company surveys.
Right. And really, I'm going to base my foundation of where I'm going on just that.
That's fair.
Really? Is that? But if I could get in and see where are they spending their time? Now, how would I get to see where they're spending their time? Well, let me go look at the code they're producing. Let me go look where their meetings are. Let me go look at the various communications that they're having and ultimately the products they're producing. A developer wants to feel proud. I built this and it had an impact on this many people. Why can't we just get back to helping them do that and take away all the noise? Use these AI tools to help do just that. This is part of what Allstacks does, by the way,
I was just going to ask, is this something that you can do?
It is. Part of the value that we bring is we provide timesheet level fidelity data for what developers are doing.
Okay.
How do we do that? We track the code and we correlate that code back to the project data so that we can effectively do the math and map out, I see you checked in code on this time and this time it's related to these project items. I can tell you exactly where the time goes.
Oh, that's amazing. And beyond having the full picture of like, this is where you're spending time, this is where you're context switching, going back to that developer happiness, which is, I think, a big message that sometimes get lost. What a great way to actually have a full picture of not only what they're spending their time, but what they're struggling at.
Correct.
And then you can actually help your teams.
Yeah. You want to be the hero manager? Help them so they don't have to context switch so much. Help them so they don't have to go talk to a project manager asking how that project's going or if it's behind, why. We have tools for that.
Yes, absolutely. That's fantastic. Okay, I love this. So we have a lot of folks that are going to be listening to this and they're in different stages of their careers, right? I think this is a conversation that's relevant to anyone, regardless of their role, because we do need to lean into using these tools for what they're intended.
Absolutely.
And so at the end of the day, this is relevant to you, whether you might not think so, but I think this is relevant to you. So let's say folks are sitting around there thinking, well, okay, I think I'm measuring the wrong things. I need to change this. Or maybe I'm not measuring at all. Or maybe this is the first time I heard business intelligence and actually the power of like busting these clogs in the DevOps pipeline. What would you suggest to them? How can you get started?
Oh, that's easy. The first point is there's no perfect metric or ideal that once I get far enough along, then I'll start measuring. Please,
okay,
just start where you are. I helped start the Value Stream Management Consortium with one intent, and that's now been transformed into a new organization called Flowtopia.
Okay.
Go to flowtopia.io, check it out. And there's a roadmap that we prescribe there. And it effectively is start with whatever you think is the first thing you want to start on.
Okay.
If you don't have any metrics, that's okay. Just start somewhere. That will take you down a path from a value stream perspective, meaning if you're a stream-aligned team, you're creating a product and you're trying to see what you're doing, there's a set of metrics that are really fun to look at. How long does it take, for example, to create something from the time that you're thinking about it to when it ends up in production? What's the total number of things that you're producing during a certain time period? What's the load that you're putting on the system? Meaning, if you were to break this down into I work on in a certain time period a number of things, and a percentage of the time goes to defects versus features versus technical debt versus security and risk, how does that all break down? And is that the right mix? The point is you could put these metrics together and just, they are what they are, and decide, are we at really the right place? It takes no work other than hooking up tools, mapping out the flow, and then getting the data back to decide, where are you today? The next discussion is what's most interesting, which is wherever I'm at, is that where I think I should be? If all I'm producing are features, and I'm not spending any time on debt, and I'm not spending any time on defects, for sure, there's a problem.
Eventually, you're going to hit a massive roadblock.
You're going to hit another cycle where you're going to be all debt. And you don't want to do that either. So start where you are. Start mapping these things out. I particularly like flow metrics, value stream flow metrics, as a starting point, just as a set to look at things of where you're at. There is no perfect answer. You might sway way more towards defects during a particular cycle. You might sway way more towards features. That's okay. Just do it eyes wide open so that you know what you're getting into.
Wow, this is terrifying. I feel like you're talking to me because I think I'm working on it. Okay, so I look away. If you don't see it, then you don't know what's happening. But if you don't have this information in front of you, if you're not measuring anything at all, then how do you know where you can improve? Yeah, that's a good learning for all of us.
Yeah.
Even outside thinking, even outside of software. I love that. Okay, so thinking about the future, you just made this announcement, and thank you so much for sharing it here with us today. I'm excited for folks to try it out. Remind us again how we can try it out. They need to reach out to their reps and then get it turned on.
Just come to allstacks.com. You'll see a little sign up. We'll get you involved in the early access. The biggest challenge, the biggest hurdle is this hooks up to your tools.
Okay.
Now, that's going to raise alarm bells with the security folks, but by the same token, that's how we get the data. That's where you're going to get the reality of what's going on. And then we do our thing to provide back those metrics so that you don't have to go calculate this, derive it. But please don't do this stuff by hand. It just doesn't,
it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense.
Okay, I love that. And actually, while you brought up a very important point, let's help them out. How can we help the security leadership in these companies that are going to be going to Allstacks? And they're ready. They're like, I want to be empowered by data the right way.
Yeah.
What can we say about security when it comes to I'm hooking up all my systems here?
Look, this industry's been around for a while now. I think the engineering intelligence and developer productivity space has been around for a while.
Yes.
There's a lot of tools that hook in here. You look for standard compliance and regulatory things, SOC 2 and the rest of it. And as long as they're following that, you've got a really good confidence that you're going to be just fine. Even for those customers that are more security conscious, private tenants, local, you name it. There's all sorts of options to help ensure any security audit will be passed with flying colors. But please just get in and do the data. It will help you in your journey.
Don't live in denial like me. This is amazing. Okay. Can you share a little bit about what's coming up next? What's in the future roadmap for Allstacks or for you? Like beyond like this, there is a lot of excitement around it. And I'm actually very eager and keen to dig into the new deep research agents.
Excellent.
This entire army of them. It sounds like there's a lot of value there that I can derive myself. But what's next for the company? What's next? Where do you see? Where are we moving? What are we going to be talking about next year?
You bet. Next year, we'll be talking about a lot more. Look, the nature and style of development is changing.
Yes.
But back to the fundamental questions. How are we maximizing the ROI of our engineering investments? That doesn't change. In fact, now the tooling costs more.
Exactly.
Right? People still cost, and you still got to manage them, and you have to manage them and keep everybody happy and moving in the same direction. Alignment doesn't change. Starting to do better or improving predictability of software delivery doesn't change. Improving quality, improving security, none of those things change. They all require metrics. What you can expect out of Allstacks are improvements that help adopt or help the team of the future, if you will.
Yes.
We call this deep research agents for a reason. We're talking about how do we help in this orchestrated world.
Yes. And because this is where we are, and this is 100% the future. So if you have been in denial about your need for measuring, this is your call for you to do it.
This is your call.
Absolutely. Jeff, this has been great. I really appreciate you taking the time, especially during Universe Week, stopping by and sharing so much.
My pleasure.
Where can people find you if they want to follow up this conversation?
You bet. Catch me on LinkedIn, Jeff D. Keyes. Catch me on Allstacks, jeff.keyes@allstacks.com. Would love to talk to you about how we can help you in your journey. At the end of the day, we're all in this together to help produce value faster.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Jeff. I appreciate you being here.
Thank you.